Right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and as always, you know what's coming. Good to see you on this, overcast and rather dreary winter afternoon. Now then, this really is very quick. Do you remember way back when I said I wasn't going to visit the site again until 2026 in the summer, because that would hopefully give them time to put things right? Well, I was walking today and I just can't contain myself, because it's the site that just keeps on giving. So I'm just going to highlight oh, dear me, I'm just going to highlight what this site is looking like at the moment. Okay, and I'm going to edge my bets here and say by the time 2026 summertime comes along, it's only going to get worse, isn't it? So here we go, just bear with me. Right, well, here we go. This is something that I never mentioned before, but a lot of the places have got electric charging points. There's one there, look, that's a novel one, isn't it? That's on the floor, that one, and that's been knocked over. Okay, you might not see it straight away because it's camouflaged by the fact that there's bins everywhere and other rubbish. Okay, now the rubbish and bins is a theme with this site that I'm sure you won't be too what's the word I'm looking for, not disappointed, surprised. You won't be too surprised. But I was shocked when I saw the amount of charging points that this place has got, which is great, but obviously it's located here, look, on this social housing area, and what comes with that? Well, you've got the van drivers, obviously, and here we go, look, here's another one, smacked and knocked over and left. There you go, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Here's another one, absolutely beautiful. And if you're going to knock three over, I mean, you might as well go for an even number, haven't you? Because I don't like three. So let's make it four, shall we? Yeah, why not? Here we go then. Let's go for four. So that's four. And this is just the beginning. I mean, I don't know if there are any others around the bends, but there you go. There's number four. Okay. Right, I'm going to continue my walk because obviously over the last couple of days we've had quite a lot of rain, and I thought whilst I'm here I might as well go mad and see how those, do you remember those excess water drain storm collecting ponds or pools or whatever you want to call them, see how they've coped with that. And yeah, so should we have a little progress about that? To say I wasn't going to do this, it's turning into a full-time job, isn't it? I'd like to think that at some point Redrow may give me a call and say, you know, we've sorted all this out, Kevin, and we'd like you to come again and do a proper video for us and show people how proud we are and how we've listened and watched your videos and taken note and appreciate what you've shown us, and we've put everything right. Is that going to happen? I don't know. Leave a comment below, sorry, and let me know if you think that's going to happen or not. But anyway, let's continue. I'm going to switch off now and then pick it back up when we reach those pools, those ponds, those areas where it's supposed to collect all the overspill, the storm drains. Right, well, I've reached what I think is the second. I do apologise if the audio is not very good on this. I haven't got my separate mic today, so I'm relying on the microphone in here. The second one, and just before we have a look at the pond itself, they're clearly not working, because I'm just going to show you this. Have a look at this. So here you go, look, this is just alongside one of those ponds, and it's flooded already. Look, the road is actually holding the water. I don't know where that's supposed to go, but I'm sure that's not supposed to be like that. So there you go. So something's clearly not working as it should. All right, so there's a lovely example of when things don't go to plan. Right, well, here we are then. Here's that second one. Do you remember this from the previous video? What you can see is I don't know if it's based on what I mentioned in the video or what they saw. I'd like to think it is. But they've replaced the straw bales with these sort of booms made out of some kind of hessian. And they've got bits of piping inside them. And they strewn across to, I should imagine, stop the debris from clogging up the main sort of the drain entrances. I'm not sure. Perhaps somebody could comment below and let me know what they're supposed to do and whether or not these are actually looking like doing what they're supposed to do. But let's have a better look. Let's go alongside and have a better look. Right, well, here you go then. You can probably see that before this was covered in grass and weeds. It looks like they've dug it out a little bit more. In fact, no, they've not dug it out. They've just I'm going to be cheeky here and say they've just literally covered up the debris, all the crisp packets and boots and wellies. They've covered it up with soil, but I'm sure they've not. But yeah, it's not looking any different. They've done something. I have no idea what. Perhaps they can comment below and let me know. But here you go, look. The water inlet, it's actually, you know, it's flooded, it's underwater. So, you know, the pressure in this pond, I think, is probably sufficient to stop any other water coming back down through the drains because of the sheer volume of water that's, you know, I'm not a physicist by any means, but I'm sure they would tell me that the water pressure and poundage of pressure created by this water in here is way in excess of any pressure that would be helping the water come down and drain off into here. Again, comment below if you're a physicist or you know about these drain systems and how they're supposed to work, and whether or not this one's working as it should. Then, you know, I'm sure we'll all be interested to hear what you've got to say. Right, well, here we go. So there's another one of those booms across here. Now, what it's supposed to stop, I have no idea, because it's underwater, so it's stopping absolutely nothing. So that was money well spent, wasn't it? And likewise the other one down there, it's underwater, so really it's pointless because it's not stopping anything. Okay, this one's not underwater. Look, the entrance to the Soakaway outlet drain area, but there's a boom on top of that, so I don't know what that's there for. I'm going to say that was just the whoever was putting these in place had just got fed up and threw that there, because it does no good whatsoever, as these don't do any good whatsoever because they're underwater. Oh, it's the place that keeps on giving, doesn't it? I'm going to keep saying that. It really does just keep on giving. This site is appalling, but they don't care because, as I mentioned earlier, I think they've sold all the houses here, so they don't care, you know. And people are so desperate for houses, so we're being told anyway, that they can always sell them. I'd like to think they take some pride in what they do, but what I'm seeing over the past couple of years here, none at all. Absolutely nothing. Right, let's move on then, and we'll have a look at the what was the third collection area and see what's happened there. Hey, and just in case people think I'm just Mr. Negative and never say anything positive, on the positive, look, the bins are empty. Do you remember this from earlier on in the year? They were absolutely stinking, overflowing and fly infested with dog feces and God knows whatever else. But look at that, absolutely beautiful, or as beautiful as a bin could be. So you know what, thumbs up for that. There's my thumb. Well done whoever was in charge of that. Right, well, here's the third one then, and I didn't show you the first one. What I'll do is I'll show you the first one on the way back. But look at this, completely different again. Look, they didn't re-sculpt this one, so they obviously thought this one's okay. So it's still full of weeds and God knows what. They'll probably tell me it's a nature reserve. But there's the booms, look, above the water like they're supposed to be. Now, I don't know which end, left or right, as you're looking, that they're supposed to stop rubbish from entering or coming in from, but the central area, look, where the drain is, it's full of rubbish. There's even a sign there, look, one of their signs floating in there. So it's not stopping things coming in from the left or right. I just don't know. I give up. I'm lost for words. And here's the other boom, look, on the right, and that's also above the water where it's supposed to be. Whether or not it's doing its job, I've no idea. But again, across there, let's have a look. See if I can zoom in on that one. I'll probably zoom in a minute. Let's have a look. No. Across there, look, you'll see that the water level is still, it's a couple of inches above ground level, if you like, or ground level of the drain entrance. I'm sure that's not right. I'm sure it should also be, you know, it should always be dry and able to let water come and flow down it. But again, that seems to be filling up. I don't know what's going on. Maybe somebody can help. I don't know. But anyway, let's move on then. So that's all right. Do you remember the lovely Keep Fit trail area and picnic area? Well, look, this looks remarkably better. Okay, they didn't go mad. They haven't got rid of all the gravel and all the rubbish that goes with gravel and the sharp stones and all the nails and screws, and they've just collected piles of dead wood and the branches and all the other rubbish that they scooped up, and they've dumped it, look, in the hedge all the way along. They've just dumped it in the hedge. God forbid anybody tells me that that was part of their nature trail, that they've created a sort of boundary out of fallen trees, a little bit like lattice woodwork that you see in the Cotswolds. Because no, I'm sorry mate, all that is just absolute sheer laziness and apathy. It's just dumped at the bottom there, along with plastic, cans and all sorts of other rubbish, bits of piping and anything you can think of. And although all the nettles and everything have gone, you can see here, look, where it's starting to turn a little bit green again. You know, don't you, that that green is just nettles, thorns and goodness knows what, just waiting to spring forward. In fact, I'm looking across now, and it's nettles. It's all the stuff they chopped, but they haven't killed anything. They've just churned it over and probably given it another lease of life, actually. So there you go. So in the summer, when I do come along, that's going to look lovely, isn't it? No grass, no nothing. Yeah, it's still appalling. And all the piles of rubbish, it's all still there. Oh, this was going to be a quick video, wasn't it? It's turned out to be a bit lengthy again. Yeah, they've piled there, look, up above the tree there. That's nice. Oh, a big piece of concrete, a big chunk of concrete in there as well. They've hidden that. And again, rubbish down there, look, other piles of bark and tree trunks and goodness knows what, just dumped. They couldn't be asked to take it away. Right, and here's another one of those soakaways. I forgot about this one. So it's 1, 2, 3, so there's 4 in total. I haven't shown you the first one. I'm going to show you that later, as I say. So this is the end one. This is number 4 then, out of 4. This is weird because it's all full of water at this end, and then as you pan up, there's virtually no water at that end. So it's obviously on a slope. So something's not right there, is it? I'm sure. They have got a boom in here, only one though. I'm sure there's a reason behind that, probably because they couldn't afford it or couldn't be asked. But if there's a better reason behind that, I'll be keen to know. But there you go, look, this side is dry. Well, it's not dry, but it is compared to that side. So it's obviously on a slope, or there's something not quite right going on. And here we go, there's the boom. And I'm just struggling to work out what the boom is supposed to do. I don't know where it's supposed to stop rubbish going, if that makes sense. I can't work it out. So if you had an oil slick at sea, you'd put these booms out and you'd make like a circle around the oil to stop it coming out of the circle and going into the sea anywhere else. This, I don't know where it's supposed to be stopping anything, because there's stuff in the middle, there's stuff at the other end, and there's stuff here. So what exactly it's doing, I don't know. But of course it's a tick box exercise, and they've put a tick there because, you know, it'll say, what measures have you taken to reduce rubbish blocking up the drains or whatever, and they'll say, we've put booms in place. We tried the straw bales, they were rubbish, and now we've spent some money and got better ones. But they haven't, have they? And they just smacked in there, look, with wooden stumps. Just, oh dear, I'll give up. Should we go on? We might as well, haven't we? Here you go, look, more rubbish. There you go, look, just piled up and left. I'm sure they're going to call that a feature, and it is a feature. It's a feature of how appalling Redrow really is, or has been on this site. But there you go, there's another thumbs up for the bin, which they've probably got no responsibility for, but whoever has, there you go. Oh, hang on a minute, I was going to say what a cracking job, but there's no bin liner in there. Alright, there's no bin liner in there. You can't have it all, can you? In fact, you can't have anything. We just want your money, and please keep quiet. So anyway, let's switch off now, and if I see anything else along the way, I'll pick it back up. But failing that, what I will do is when I get to the very end, I'll pick up and show you that number one of the 4 of those drainage or storm drain collection pools or ponds. Okay. Right, well, remember the playground area? Well, there you go. Look, that's taking shape. That's another thumbs up. You know, it's starting to look all right, isn't it? Green. And obviously that turf covers up a multitude of sins, doesn't it? But at the moment, yeah, it's looking really nice, isn't it? Look, and I'm sure that'll be a welcome addition for any kiddies out there who haven't got a slide or swing in the back garden. That's quite nice. I like that. Whether or not you'd say it's big enough for an estate this size, I'm going to say no. You'd think there were 3 of these, wouldn't you? One in each end and one in the middle. But hey, tick box. There you go. Right, well, as promised then, here's number 1 of those storm drain collection areas. And I should imagine this is what all the others are supposed to look like. You know, so you've got an even spread of floodwater, right, from left to right. It's all evenly spread across there. And you've got the booms, look, sort of in a sort of semicircle or square or whatever you want to call it, across the mouths of those drain areas. Okay, so that's that looks all right. But then you see, even though this looks good, as someone once said to me, all that glistens isn't gold. So I'm just walking down here to have a look at this one. Look at that. So the booms are actually holding water up against the drain areas. Yeah, I just can't fathom it out. I can't work that out. What it is they're, what it is they're there for, what they're supposed to do. I just don't know. Please do comment if you do know. And if you're in the business of supplying and fitting these kind of things, maybe you've got yourself a job here. Maybe you can get in touch with Redrow and say, do you want the job doing properly? We'll come up and give you a quote. But there you go. So, it's probably, I don't even want to say this, but I'm going to say it's probably the better out of all 4. But that's just because the water is level and there's not quite so much rubbish in it. And there's a bit of greenery, a bit of grass, if you can call it grass, around it. So there you go. So that's as promised the first one. But there's that thing again, look, where it's actually full of water. Right then. So there you go. That's I've got to say, that is my last video now of this site until the middle of the summer, when hopefully everything's fine. These will all be up and running as they should be, although I doubt that. The trail area will be up and running and full of lush green grass, which I doubt it. And it'll all be sort of, the playground will be finished, fingers crossed. So, we'll see. There are worse sites out there, trust me, because I visit most of them. But there are certainly much, much better. That's the problem. And I mean, they could justify it by saying we're no better or worse than any others. Well, is that really what you want to be saying? I wouldn't say you're trailblazers. Well, you are, but possibly for the wrong reasons. But there you go. Anyway, look, that's my last one here. It's early December now, so Merry Christmas to all of you. Whatever it is you're doing, hobby-wise, keep doing it. Yeah, I'll catch you in the new year. So as always, bye for now, stay safe, and hopefully catch you on the next one. Bye bye.